Hey, it says that we are streaming to YouTube. Let's just see, shall we? Are we actually streaming to YouTube? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love. It still says upcoming. Live in 4 minutes. What in the world? Why? It says 4 minutes. Why does it say four? Okay, now it says that we are live. What in the heck? There it is. Wow. Okay, so my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love, where I am live at 2:31 on Wednesday, 2:31 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday, March the 19th, 2025. If you are watching this if you are watching the recording on Sassy Seer Sheila, it is not live there. I've decided that I'll start saying that because sometimes um, it would appear some folks get a little confused because it looks live. And I don't know why YouTube does that, but apparently that's a thing. So anyway, I did not get to do my collective read this morning, so I decided rather than just hit the morning mojo button, I would create a collective read slot as well because I was busy making chocolate this morning. I'm going to my local Wise Woman Circle tonight, and our hostess is making us a beautiful soup uh, to have, a wonderful taco soup. And when I asked what I could bring, she said, well, nothing, just yourself and anything that your heart desires to have. Well, I have been promising to make my healthy chocolate and I haven't done it. And so now that we've moved into the new digs and everything, I went ahead this morning and actually got after it. And so I made uh, actually a double batch. So we could have some with nuts and some without. And because several of our community members here are allergic to nuts. So and there's no cross contamination because, well, I know better. Well, and I didn't use any kind of deadly nuts anyway. I also used. If you want the recipe for this, it is not just a healthy chocolate. In my view, it actually could assist with Alzheimer's. There's been some studies about how coconut oil helps those who are suffering from dementia. That's how I learned about it. My father actually, when he saw how I had taken my health into my own hands, and he was so impressed with the turnaround I had made. He shared with me things that he was doing, and one of them was um, coconut oil. And he had shared with me several of the reports that he had read about how they were even in one study. I think it was 2 tablespoons of coconut oil consumed on a daily basis was actually um, providing some um, not just relief, but uh, showing promising results in dementia patients. And I was, and I always have been a dark chocolate fanatic. And I learned that raw cacao is a superfood, and that is what cocoa and ultimately chocolate is made out of. And when I was trying to get off of sugar, I I just Googled how to make your own chocolate using cacao, and lo and behold, it's coconut oil, maple syrup, and cacao, and that's it. That is all. And then, of course, you can add whatever you want as, you know, fillers or whatever. And it's a miracle thing, if you ask me. And so it provides a sweetness. And then I just recently I learned there's been a study, wow, that shows all four surrender cards came out. There's been a study that has come out that says that cacao seems to stimulate stem cell growth. So that all of those powerhouses, and I guess maple syrup has an awful lot of really good properties to it, including uh, I don't know, I think there's a potassium. It has a lower glycemic index. So to me, it's a health food. It's not just a chocolate. And the first time that I gave some to my son, my grown son, he said, "Oh my God, Mom, I actually got a buzz from this. What is this?" He thought I was dabbling around in something else, but no, it was just that. And so it's just those three ingredients, and it's really easy. All you got to do is Google it. There's all sorts of recipes out there. And I can just give it to you now. 2 cups of cacao, raw cacao, 1.5 cups of coconut oil. And the recipe calls for 1.25 cup of maple syrup, but I cut it back to 1, and it's still plenty sweet enough. And I don't know, I think it's a win-win situation where that's concerned. And the only thing is you can't carry it around in your purse, because it will melt, so you make it. I've got it in the freezer right now, and because it's going to have to travel this afternoon, and then you just keep it in the refrigerator, and it lasts forever and ever and ever. Well, no, it doesn't, because it gets eaten rather quickly, actually. So let me know in the comments if you've ever um, tried that kind of, hey, Mark, that kind of chocolate, or if you're going to try it. I would love to hear your experience with it, because it's so easy to make. I made that double batch, and I made 3 different kinds, one with the chia seeds and pistachio nuts, one with raisins, and then one just plain. And it only took me an hour and a half. And that includes cleanup and everything. So it's so easy to do. So, and I have been experimenting with it. This time I used, rather than 1.5 cups of coconut oil, that's per batch, by the way. What I gave you there is per batch. I used 1/2 cup of coconut butter and a whole cup of coconut oil. So, and it just makes it that much more rich. So do share with me. Let me know if you try it, and if you do, what you think. Now, I will tell you, when I first started making it, I gave it to a bunch of little kids because I thought, oh, here's some healthy chocolate that I can feel good about giving to children, because it doesn't have any preservatives, no lecithin. You can put lecithin in it if you want, but it's really no point really in it, and because it can't be shelf stable anyway. Um, and but I don't know if it's because kids are so used to the crap candy, or if it was because it's dark chocolate, but the littlest ones were not interested at all. As a matter of fact, the 4-year-old that I gave it to, he came to me and it was just running out of his mouth because he did not like it. So that was kind of funny. To me, it was very funny. And honestly, I think it says a lot about um, the addictive properties of sugar and corn syrup and all the other junk that they put in those things, you know. Okay, so like I said, 4 cards came flying out from the surrender deck, and one of them was surrender fear. We had this one not that long ago. Let go of the fearful stories you are telling yourself. Stay in the moment, focus on solutions, and celebrate every baby step forward. That's a big one for me. Fear, you know. Actually, I think it was actually Surrender the Fear of Change was the one that came out recently. Surrender to prayer. Give yourself over completely to prayer. When you pray from your heart, you will be heard throughout the universe, and answers and support will arrive. Now, if you're like me and you kind of were turned off by organized religion, which is something that happened pretty early on for me, um, just the word prayer for a long time was a trigger for me. And it was because I associated that with the domination and control mechanism that is organized religion. However, I don't see it like that anymore. Um, Anything that one does can be considered a prayer if it is heartfelt. That energy of the heart is behind it, the emotion that it carries. Um, there's a whole thing about prayer that I actually, uh, Greg Braden did a lecture once, and he talked about prayer and what actually is missing. Because a lot of people say, well, God never answers my prayer, so I stopped praying. But that's because there's a lot of information left out of prayer. A lot of it has to do with trust in the universe, trust in self, and again, that energy that's behind it. For me, anyway. And then surrender your desire to control people. Oh my. Being over controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. Now, in truth, I have been such a control freak in my life. Boy, I got to tell you. Um, I thought I had the best way to do a thing, and you really ought to listen to me because I know what I'm talking about. And it just, I know better now, and I have no desire to control anybody. Well, and it doesn't work no matter what you think. And the last one, surrender your addictions. Whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking, take action to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with healthier alternatives. Now, I've been addicted to every one of those, that except for the sex one. that they list there. Food actually, had to be that one because you don't get to be 490 pounds without having that on board. People, yes. I would think that I was addicted to people or having people around or whatever. And overworking, oh my God, I was such a workaholic for a very long time. Okay, so of the other cards that came out, we have Faf the Footer from the Fairy Oracle, card number 58. That is that's a 4 numerologically. So let's see, Faf the Footer. And he is part of, is he a challenger? Yes. He is part of the, no, he is part of the helpline troop. Right? No, 58. I was trying to, nope, he is a fairy challenger. Okay, so the key words for FAF are being real, earthing, grounding, centering. Just as life is becoming surprising, exciting, and very interesting, though not necessarily fun, Faf the Footer Fungus Fairy comes along to check out our feet. He picks up one foot in his remarkably strong hands and looks it over for fluff between the toes, smelly fungi, and dirty, untrimmed toenails. If he finds any of these, if he finds any of these signs of disrespect for our feet, and for Earth Mama walking on her with grubby feet, yuck, he marks them by making holes in our socks. If things are really bad, he sends mice to eat our dancing shoes, so we will be forced to dance barefoot in the dewy meadows under the moon. If it happens that we have snow instead of dew, that is just our tough luck. Warning. Faf may have fungi on his fingers from somebody else's feet. If your feet are not clean, both energetically and physically, the fungi are apt to take root. He leaves that foot in the air while he inspects the other foot, lifting it up as well. Having done his inspection job, he wanders off, leaving us standing there with both feet in the air. And Faf snickers, usually confused expressions on your faces. This is not a good position for a human to be in. This is a test. Repeat, this is a test. You have been warned. The test is to get both feet, excuse me, feet. Oh, it was spelled F-F-E-T. Back on terra firma. Do not try to do anything important or make any significant decisions until you have come back to Earth. Anything you attempt to do, oh wow, this is a very specific warning to me. Well, to me in general, and probably to you too if you're here, is I have been being told of late that, Crystal and I had a conversation that I put out about, running and hiding from self, right? And there's been a lot of questions for me about, what in the hell am I doing? Why am I doing what it is I'm doing? And the answer has been coming because there is transformation taking place that I in particular, and I suspect many more than just me, are expecting or also pushing for things to be a certain way or to reveal themselves or, shouldn't we be doing something now kind of thing. And the message keeps coming from a whole bunch of different ways for me personally, to settle down, ground yourself. You are where you are for a purpose, even if you don't understand it. And I feel like another way of saying that to me, and maybe to you as well. Anything you attempt to do while standing with your feet in the air is apt to not work. If you are lucky, if you are unlucky, it will work, but not at all in the way you intend or hope. See, that is what this is talking about, is calm down, take a chilly willy and just hang out. Breathe, ground, center. Maintain or recover sanity by staying earthed. Do this now. Important information is coming your way, but you can only receive it properly if your feet are on terra firma and your head is well connected to the rest of your body. Wow, with all of those surrender cards coming out too. That's another big message to me personally, to just hang on a second. Don't be in such a all fire hurry. Oh, wow. And I'm very dizzy in this moment of now. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Alrighty then. So the next one that wants to be read is from the Hero's uh, Dream Oracle, the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. Card number 36, which is a 9 numerologically. So the end of a cycle. The thin, thin veil. Okay. Let go and let glow. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. That's a quote by Anais Nin or Anise Nin. I'm not sure who that is. If you know, please inform me or educate me in the comments, please. It's spelled Anais, last name Nin. The message for this card. There is a special relationship between death, dreams, and meditation. These states reside on the other side of the veil, where perception widens and dimensions that always existed are suddenly accessible and in plain view. When you firmly identify with the ordinary world of the tangible and three-dimensional, it makes sense to resist crossing through the veil because of its perceived association with loss, destruction, or annihilation. However, when you do journey back and forth across the veil, you carry multidimensional wisdom to the ordinary world to remind everyone that they too have access to this heavenly elixir. When tragedy strikes or a nightmare happens, and you are catapulted from your comfy, cozy world across the veil and into the extraordinary realm, you no longer need to fight the transition. Rather, be grateful for the opportunity to deepen and live into more of your potential. Wow. Hey, DG, I'm so glad you could join. And what a beautiful, thank you for that. She's listening whilst doing art. Isn't that lovely? I would love for you to send me a picture of what it is you're working on while you're listening to me. That would be lovely. So there is a dream symbol regarding transition here that I'll share. Dreams of death or dying. Oh, I'm going to have to take my hair down, y'all, because I am starting to get such a headache. And I know it's from having my hair up because I had it up on top of my head before I went live and I had to take that down. But sorry about that. Oh, man. Okay. So the transition. Dreams of death or dying can symbolize the ending. See, that's very interesting because yesterday, oh boy, there was so many synchronicities again about yesterday, y'all. I was in here doing the reading with you guys, and I saw the death card on the bottom of the deck, which is something I never usually do. I accidentally put that deck the wrong way round. And as it happened, my friend Barbara was had all at the same moment of time as I'm in here talking with y'all, clear across the country. She was nudged to do a card pull for Lisa. And I'd be damned if the death card didn't come up from the same deck, by the way. That was so interesting to me. And so now we're talking about it again. Dreams of death or dying can symbolize the ending of a pattern or relationship. And there's been a lot about, because Venus is retrograde right now. Venus is my zodiacal ruler. I'm a Libra sun sign. And there's also a lot happening with this eclipse because it happens in my seventh house, which is the house of relationships. So there's a lot of stuff ending, differing things, not, relationships necessarily with people, but just relationships to things, ideas, all sorts of things, right? So, dreams of death or dying can symbolize the ending of a pattern or relationship and suggest a new cycle is about to begin. Dreaming of someone dying is about transformation and change in your relationship to them. This dream may be giving you an edge on how to best survive and thrive in your current life circumstances, as well as provoking a paradigm shift about the things you fear most. Well, surrender fear is one of those surrender cards that came up. Let the wisdom of this dream show you how to not only survive, but to thrive upon your noble path. Well, I've shared before that my dark moon Lilith is in Leo, and uh, in Laura Walker's work, that carries with it the shadow of order and the primary fear of change. So, and truth be told, this move has been a bit difficult for me. Leaving my old house where I was for almost 13 years and moved in there with my, at the time we divorced, husband of almost 28 and a half years. So this is a huge change for me. There's a lot of changes for me. Very interesting. The awareness of the preciousness of life puts a gale force beneath my wings. The awareness of the preciousness of life. It's not just the preciousness, it's actually quite miraculous in so many ways. Oh my gosh. I have a picture that used to be behind me. It lives over there now, so you guys can't see it, but that my friend BZ Rieger, she had taken this picture and she had it mounted on a foam board and gifted to me for my birthday one year. And it is very similar to this, where there's a path leading somewhere into the unknown, and that's what that looks like. So yeah, I just have to open myself to the idea that not only here in this new these new surroundings with new people, um, but I do know there is way more coming. I don't know what, um, or what that's going to look like on any sort of level. Now, very interestingly enough, the Alchemy Elemental deck gave us card number 57, which is a 3 numerologically. And boy, it looks like it's kind of, come on, very multidimensional, but it's sky, rainbow, moon. And being that this full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo that we just had, the energy for that is very still here. At least for me, I don't know about you guys, but it is definitely permeating all of what I am moving through in these moments of now. Again, because it has to do with endings in a lot of different ways. Because it was also conjunct. It was conjunct opposite Saturn, which is interesting, but also conjunct the South Node. And the South Node is all about the karmic past, right? So it's all about endings here. Sky, rainbow, moon. Let's see. Sky, rainbow, moon. It's on page 73. That is a 1 numerologically. So the I am and the Trinity. Isn't that interesting? Do not give in to frustration over the density of this realm or the limitations of the matrix, my love. Indulging in disappointment is a trap that will only compound your misery while fueling the darkness. Boy, ain't that a true statement. You must sense beyond the limits of this realm and beyond the rules, the boundaries, and the boxes of the matrix. Instead of surrendering your mood and your peace of mind to some dense 3D reality structure that wants you to think that work and struggle and reality TV are all there is to life, you must open your mind to a more expansive spectrum of consciousness. Turn your attention toward the spirits, toward the multidimensional realms that hold the information and the knowledge that will lift your own spirit and allow you to embrace the magnificence of the insights awaiting you there. Wow. Isn't that beautiful? Mark said, Sheila, I'm seeing something again. It might have something to do with your migraines. Oh, interesting. Well, you'll have to let me know what it is. What's really interesting about that is you are not the only person that calls these migraines. I never would assign that moniker to them, the pain that I have, because it's actually um, connected to the spine, even for me. The misalignment, the scoliosis, the differing things that I have going on with my spine. But it's kind of interesting to me. You're not the only one that has classified them as migraines. So I find that interesting in and of itself. Um, I know that what this card just said, all of those words that were about this card is for me the most I've had the most fun over these last, well, really since 2016, since the gathering that I held here in North Carolina, where we had a total of 14 people from all over the United States to come and visit and spend, let's see, how many days were we together? I think it was like 4 days. And just being in each other's presence. Ever since that time, it's been a nonstop uh, adventure for me. And because during that gathering, myself and Lisa and two other ladies, we opened a portal. We did not know what we were doing. We didn't, it just happened. It wasn't like we set out to do that. We opened a portal of unconditional love that has grown and gotten larger and larger and larger here in this area. Mark said, I've seen that color before in dreams. It was during transition. Death dreams. This one? Oh, Journey into it in the house. And Journey into it sent Star Portal. She knows that we did over there in the house that we just moved from because she's been to that house. And doesn't that look like portal energy for real, right? I mean, it does to me. Wow. Okay, so the last card from the Rumi deck also is a card 36. Now that's kind of interesting because we had the thin veil was 36 as well. And this one is Passion of the Wild Red Mother. Wow, okay. Hmm. Don't ask the conscious ones about the wine. Behold the glowing effect of it in the eyes of the drunks. Bring me your unreasonableness, your insanity, your love without reason, and your passion. The passion that makes you crazy and shoos all logical restraint from your mind. Because you know what? Ever since that gathering, that does feel like the adventure that I've been on, right? All logic, it shoes the passion that makes you crazy and shoes all logical restraint from your mind. Leave your ordered thoughts, sensible plans, and appropriate attire at my door. Put on your animal fur and sing to me in gibberish. When my beautiful goats die, I make drums from their skins, and their spirits live on in my passionate play. When my birds drop their feathers, I gather them and put them in my hair. Come drum with me as I place feathers in your hair, and we honor the spirits of my animals. of your animal nature too, wild and free as you are in truth. Stick your tongue out and growl at those who try to tame you with guilt, shame, and fear. Do you think I give a damn for any of their silly games? Honestly, that's a real question. Because let me just say right now, the answer is no. Those games of reason and logic, of course, you should do it this way, they say. It makes sense. But I care not for what makes sense. I care for what brings you alive. You, O blazing angel, are being invited by the wild red mother to participate in a dance of divine passion. You may be an activist, a poet, an advocate for justice, or a writer, content in your own world of dreams, or perhaps you are a healer, devoted to the liberation of the suffering of others and hungry to commune with ancient wisdom. Perhaps you are all of these, or some other exquisite amalgam of holy energy in form. Whatever your nature, there is passion in your heart, a fire for something more wonderful than fear that can become the fuel for your life journey. If you accept the invitation of the wild red mother, of course. This is the invitation to lay aside despair, to lay aside doubt in in the capacity of the human heart, even your frustration and impatience. It is time to quit whipping yourself and others, no matter how noble the intention behind the whip may be, and start dancing instead. Will you join her, the wild red mother, in her exuberant play? You can choose to lead through joy, to heal through love, to transform suffering into what it is meant to be, the crucible through which ecstasy reveals itself. You do not have to analyze, to stay in the throes of process and ordered stages. Wow, that's a huge message right there because, there's a whole lot of, well, we're supposed to be this way if you're a light worker, and you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that. And that's not very right or whatever. And I refute all of that, to be honest with you. You can just choose this passionate path now, if you wish. You are ready. It is open to you. Will you accept? It takes a great spirit, one with much practice of studied rebellion, to be ready to cast off the shackles of society from a place of loving defiance rather than fearful anger, and to playfully say to the world, I have tasted your stale bread and underdeveloped wine, and have had quite enough now. I decline your offer to gorge upon such lesser fruits. I prefer to feast upon bread hot and fresh, and wine that is filling and unctuous. Join me, if you like. It is an abundant feast, and there is plenty for all. Even in the spiritually minded, there can be a driving fear, thinly veiled as devotion. I think I was just saying that, to the most arduous path. Perhaps for a while that serves as a truth of sorts, but eventually there will come a time when smaller truths must give way to larger ones, so the soul can truly be free to grow. Passion is the bridge that leads you from a smaller truth that suffering is necessary in order to heal towards a larger and more luscious experience of life that as a divine embrace. Oh, wait a minute. Let me make sure I didn't go too far. Passion is the bridge that leads you from a smaller truth that suffering is necessary in order to heal towards a larger and more luscious experience of life as a divine embrace. Yes, sometimes the divine lover, in all enthusiasm for the sport, bites you too hard or grabs you with so much desire that a bruise remains. However, the passion behind such fervent embrace can leave you begging for more life, for more of that boundless love, even when it knocks you on the head whilst grabbing for you. This is possible when you give up on judgment of what is good and what is bad, on what is apparently spiritual and what is not. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of that out there. Oh, she don't know what she's talking about because she's not spiritual enough. Has anybody ever seen, there's this young gal that did a song, it was a parody, I'm more spiritual than you. It is funny. Oh my God, it is so funny. Look it up on YouTube if you haven't ever found it. It is very funny. Uh, and when you just realize everything in your life is leading to love, I'm going to read that again. This is possible when you give up on judgment of what is good and what is bad, and on what is apparently spiritual and what is not. And when you just realize everything in your life is leading to love, whether through caress or slap, the divine lover is seducing you. If you can accept this, you can certainly give yourself permission to love what you love, to live how you wish to live, and to forget about holding yourself back because some choices make sense and others supposedly do not. And that right there is, I think, what I mean when I say to you guys that I finally see about how I may have labeled something in my past as a horrific happening or whatever. When it comes to come to find out, all things work together for good. Whether you label it as bad in the moment or not, it still serves. You have to be willing to see that it serves, but it still serves. If you are able to rise to the passion that is possible for you, you'll let the wild red mother consume your philosophies and doctrines. She'll feast on your religion and your plans and devour your doubts and certainties. She'll tear away your need for maps and directions just when you think there's nothing left. She'll grab your hands and spin with you. You'll tilt back your head and laugh so wildly with her, spinning together along with the earth upon her axis. With a daring and bold love for life that will not be quashed, that wild mother speaks to you now. You can choose passion over fear time and time again. So I invite you to paint the whole world red with me, with passionate nature. Let us laugh and change the world. This oracle comes to you with a message. It is a big cosmic yes. It is also an invitation to let go of suffering and struggle, not with regret or shame, but with gentle acknowledgement that it has had its purpose. It it now has a bigger purpose, that of passion, which calls you to engage in the embrace of life with more abandon than ever before. Now is the time to let go of belief systems and needing to know anything. I just said that a minute ago. Wow. It is time to trust in the beating of your own heart and in the people, places, and experiences that truly move you, whether it makes sense or appears to be logical or not. The wild red mother comes to you when you are ready for her at a soul level. Your mind may think she is a thief in the night, ready to pilfer all you hold near and dear, and be utterly in terror at the prospect. But your soul will be gurgling with such anticipation of freedom, it will fill your heart with sweet love and urge you to let go. Let her have her way with you, even if it means she crashes into you in the dark as she fumbles and drags you, half asleep, to go out dancing with her under the full moon, wearing nothing but your animal skin and a smile. She'll soothe any bumps and bruises you receive in opening up to life with the most tender and effective of ministrations, for she is just as tender a nurse as she is a wild, raging dance partner. This oracle also brings you guidance. You have divine permission to do something ridiculous, be it ridiculous in your own mind, for your age or career path, or some identity or version of yourself you or another hold. Yeah, being 63 and having a grown child, let me just say that that's a very real thing right there. The more ridiculous or inappropriate it seems, the more it moves you from your heart without rhyme or reason, the better. This is not about hurting people or behaving without moral code. It is not about childish indulgence and questionable justification for letting the ego misbehave. Everybody always jumps to that, by the way. Anytime I've had this discussion, everybody jumps to that right there. It's like, no, that's not what this means at all. It is not about the ego at all. The wild red mother eats ego for breakfast. This guidance is about listening to the truth of your heart and allowing your soul to throb with aliveness, making that more important than any restriction, opinion, judgment, or fear the mind, yours or that of others, could summon. Wow. I'm sorry, but the readings of late have been off the chain. For me, I don't know, man. Yes, Journey into It, you did pop in right at the right time because I was thinking I just said right before you popped in that I've been receiving messages since our conversation that I published, that this is a time of huge transformation for me personally, and I suspect for a lot of folks. And we don't have a clue as to what that's going to look like. And, I keep being told to just relax. It's all in hand. We've got this. Mark, Mark said, guess what energy's color is, what that energy's color is. What energy are you talking about? The one that you're seeing around me right now? Because in case y'all hadn't figured it out, Mark sees color around me. whenever whenever he catches me live. Well, I took it from our private message conversation the other night that you actually can visualize me and see color that way as well, because I wasn't anywhere near a recording when you were telling me what you saw around me then. Wow. I just have to say, this has been a huge reading too. Yesterday's reading was big, I thought, but it just seems to me like all of these readings are very huge for me personally. I don't know how you guys feel about them. I would love for y'all to chime in and let me know what and whether you're watching this live now, or because I'm recording this, I will be putting it over on Sassy Seer Sheila as well. And I highly recommend that y'all be subscribed in both places, because I am going to be giving love to that channel as well. So sometimes I will be live here, sometimes I will be live on Sassy Seer Sheila. And so you may be watching this uh, later as the recording. And I would love for folks to chime in. Loved every word shared. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I feel as though that, like I said, the messages that are coming in have been that we are in the midst of a very large, and I feel it's already started for me personally, is I feel completely differently now when I'm giving these readings. There's something completely different about the way I feel when giving these messages. I can't put my finger on it, and I'm not even really worried about doing that. But something has fundamentally shifted within me, and I can tell it even if no one else can, and that's okay if no one else can, because it doesn't really matter. I'm the one that it means the most to. So for those that weren't here earlier, I'm going to go over the surrender cards again because 4 popped out. Surrender fear. Let go of the fearful stories you are telling yourself. Stay in the moment. Focus on solutions and celebrate every baby step forward. Can we not hear that in what we just heard from the Wild Red Mother? Surrender to prayer. And that was a big one for me because, again, I used to get all kinds of triggered when anybody would say the word prayer, because I associated it with organized religion. And I used to get really triggered when it was anything that had to do with organized religion, which I no longer do. And I see prayer and meditation, by the way, I actually hold them as the same thing in a very real way, because meditation for me also becomes prayer. I don't know if that makes any sense to you at all. Mark said, I'm observing and learning. I've wondered for many years what that energy was. Ah, okay. That's interesting. Well, I hope that that's helpful for you, Mark. Surrender your desire to control people. This was a big one for me. Okay, a huge one for me. Because I used to think I could control everybody and everything. Journey into it said, "Yep, let go of the fear and stories I'm telling myself." Yes, most specifically, yes. Because I know exactly what you're speaking on, and I do feel like that's a big yeah, for you. And me too, by the way, for me too, in just a little bit of a different way. And then the last one was surrender your addictions. Whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking, take action to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with healthier alternatives. And that's also, some people can be addicted to beating the hell out of themselves, like I used to do. And that's a very real thing. That is a very real thing. So I hope this was helpful for everyone. I love you guys so, so much. I hope that you will continue to move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you, because it really is just a perspective. And if you're not feeling joy in that moment, give yourself a moment. Maybe take another run at it. Think about it a little bit more, because there's always more than one way to do a thing, see a thing, think about a thing. There's just a myriad of ways. We just have to allow ourselves to be open to considering them. And so I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. I'm really excited about this afternoon for myself, getting together with the ladies locally to have our Wise Woman Circle. So, if you are interested in having some conscious conversations, hit me up, consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. It's way more than time to begin having those. And record it or not, I mean, of course I always want to record them, because I know that they're helpful to anybody and everybody who hears them. However, I also have relaxed that, because I do know that it puts it in the field. At least having the conversation gets it out of here and into the field. So there's that too. Until next time, my friends. Mwah.